judging the past BMWs. They're always elegant and expensive. True, I'd never ridden any BMW before, but this one is rather different. This is the all-new 2020 BMW F900r.
What you already probably know about this BMW F900r is that it only costs 655,000 pesos and it's 105 horsepower. It's powerful. I mean, it can go 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. But the reason I like this bike is not really what it can do in a straight line. How it gets through the corners, it's brilliant. As soon as you sit in it, steering just feels wonderfully accurate and sharp.
This being a BMW, there are of course many settings and variants, and a plethora of ways just to adjust those settings. As with other BMWs, I find the menu very easy to learn. But this base model, the only thing to adjust is traction control on and off, road and rain mode, and on the other hand, the sport version has 2 more riding modes. It's got Dynamic and Dynamic Pro, Dynamic Traction Control, Cornering ABS, Dynamic Brake, Electronic Suspension, Up and Down, Quick Shifter, etc. But this base model, there's this one particular control I have to talk about, and that is the throttle. You've seen ride-by-wire 900cc's before, but nothing is just as smooth as this one.
The engine is very linear, and when you just want to cruise and ride around the city, the engine is not snatchy or angry. This one's very gentle. In fact, beginners can learn to ride on the F900r. That's what's good with a smooth, gentle engine. You don't get tired trying to control the power. You don't keep on pressing the clutch, you don't keep on pressing the brake, or turning on and off the throttle. This bike is very gentle. And if you want power, just open the throttle and all hell breaks loose. It's like having 2 motorcycles in one. Comfort, well, when you sit on one, it's easy to say that the foot pegs are really high and the steering is a little aggressive. But again, it's just sitting on a bike. When you actually ride in it, it's surprisingly a very comfortable motorcycle. It is actually a bike I can ride in traffic, I can ride in highways, in tight roads, and not feel tired. I think BMW is the master of comfort right here. When you come into the twisty road, you will thank yourself for having a BMW F900r. Because the foot pegs, the handlebars, they're in a very good attack position. It allows a very aggressive lean and angle. Again, this is 2 bikes in one. This is value for money. I think one problem is this bike is too quiet. Maybe I can put on an open slip-on can and maybe add some angas feel and a little more power down low. And this BMW F900r is the base model. This bike spec is 655,000 pesos. It has a lot of gadgets, a lot of tech stuff you can have, but with some add-on options and the sport mode, which has dynamic headlights, engine modes, you pay a lot of premium, which brings that bike, the sport mode, to another bracket. I think the sport version is in another price territory. If budget is your concern and you just want to have a BMW, just go for this model. You won't regret it.
The nice thing about this base model is that you don't actually need the Dynamic and Dynamic Pro mode to enjoy the F900r. Yes, it's heavy with a curb weight of 211 kilos, but certainly on the road, it absolutely does not ride like a heavy bike. The chassis is well balanced and the center of gravity is low between your legs.
Allow me to explain. This F900r has all the gizmos and all the technology you can find on a 2020 motorcycle. This parallel twin is at the same power as a 3-cylinder with the same cc. It's 105 horsepower. Upside down forks, ABS, traction control. You got LED headlights, which is just right for 2020. The seat, there are actually 3 configurations of the seat. You have to order the seat. There's a low seat, regular standard seat height, and a high seat height. So of course, for us Filipinos, better to have the low seat height. You might be wondering how it feels like to ride this bike compared to the competitors. and at the same cc, at the same price range. One difference they said is the foot peg, but it's not so bad. The foot pegs are a little high, but it's good for track use, of course. And syempre hindi siya sasayad. The handlebars are a little bit far and a little bit lower, but you can also have the option to make it a little higher and closer. Just look at this one, then you can just unscrew this one, then move it closer to you, so you have a more relaxed position for the city. And another advantage of a parallel twin engine is, of course, its smooth power delivery. It's kind of soft but powerful on the top end. You really have to twist it, but the way BMW designed it, the ECU, the power is gentle down low, so you wouldn't have a hard time managing the power in traffic. You wouldn't wheelie a lot, you wouldn't press the clutch and brake all the time. So it's a gentle bike down low, it's smooth, it's stable. But of course, 900cc, you still have the power in the top end, you still have the power in the highways. It's a very good bike. It's an all-around Swiss Army knife, or I could call it a German knife or a German weapon. So maybe you can call this a sleeper bike because it looks behaved and it looks practical. But of course, you have the power, 900cc, no problems at all. And just twist the throttle, a lot of RPM, and this bike can fly. There's Gucci, our regular test rider. What bike are you riding right now?
We're riding right now the BMW F900, and this is the base model. We're actually testing this bike right now here at Marilake. So enjoy the scenery, enjoy the bike.
This is German engineering, and yes, this BMW is made in Germany. When you actually ride one, the BMW F900r is such a small and very light bike, so compact, which leads to the same problem. The bike is so small that in traffic, other bikers think that I'm riding a 400cc bike, or maybe because this model just came out, people don't recognize it yet. In fact, the fairing is too small. There's no place to put a BMW badge at the back. See, that's a problem. I want other people to know that I can afford a BMW. You see, this bike is so small and so thin. See? Looks like a 400cc bike or a Japanese bike. It's so small and so plain. It's so tiny. There's no space to put an emblem. You know, I was in traffic. People kept asking, what bike is this? What bike is that? How many cc? You see, there's no indication that this is a BMW. And it's a new model, so people don't know what it looks like. So there's a BMW, but it's black. See? Can you see it? I don't think you can. And that's the only emblem. That's BMW. But here at the back, and you have F900, but I'm sitting in it. So when in traffic, so this is my first BMW. There's not even a space to put an emblem here. But I have a rather clever solution to this one. So, looks like BMW's got a new logo and a new typeface, and I googled it right here. They had redesigned sometime this year during the lockdown. Everything's new, see? It's totally different. It's the new communication logo for their social media and booklets and everything. So it's new. And we'll copy that and download, and so I'm gonna put it in Photoshop and let's print this motherfucker. Make life a ride. There you go. The new BMW communication logo. Let's go. The F900r actually reminded me and my brother of another bike. It's a little cheaper and a little crazier, the Yamaha NT09. But after a few days of riding the BMW F900r, me and my brother both agree that this is absolutely no way like the MT09.
So what bike do I compare this to? Everyone's saying this bike is the panglaban to the MT09. because it's value for money and it's middleweight, and MT-09 is one of the best value for money because it has a lot of gadgets, and this one too has a lot of gadgets. I have to disagree with that one. This bike is nothing like the MT-09. This bike is super comfortable, just like the MT-09, but this bike can go to the track. This bike has a lot of technology in it. This bike is, I think, 5 years ahead of MT-09. The power is different. MT-07, it's too basic. CB650, the price is too low, but that's a very, very good bike. The quality, it's a big bike. I think this one's close to KTM Duke 790. But then again, the Duke 790, the power, torque, down low is very strong. But same horsepower like the MT-09, all 105 horsepower. Still close comparison, but I'll still pick this one. It's a BMW, and this one again is very, very comfortable. Ducati Scrambler, same price, almost around the same price bracket, but the Scrambler is a Scrambler. Ducati's in a different world. Ducati Monster, almost, but the problem with Ducatis, their engines, they're so hot. This one, I don't feel any heat. There's no fan blowing to my legs, nothing at all. I'm surprised, so surprising that there's no heat in my legs. So Ducati Monster, not so, but none of them is as comfortable as this bike. None of them has a dual personality as this BMW F900r. I think this bike is a sleeper bike. You get two motorcycles in one. But you know, I'm sure this BMW F900r reminds me of another BMW, but it's just a little more expensive. That BMW is also an everyday ride. It's also comfortable. It's elegant but kind of sporty. It's got TFT screen. It's 2.99 million. It's good for the city and it's good for the highway. And sometimes it can be a track weapon also. And it's aggressive when you want to. It's also a sleeper. It's called the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe. I like that better because it has a BMW badge in the back.
So there we are, finally an affordable BMW big bike for the rest of us. Sort of. I'm not gonna claim it's perfect, but with its very linear power, precise chassis, and the ability to put you into attack mode when you hit the gas, all wrapped up in the comfortable riding position and an engine with no heat, it feels like quite a package. And then you add that dual character that is very, very gentle in traffic, but so wild in the open roads. So I'll say it again. It's like buying two bikes for the price of one.